avec Elevator sur Elevator TV Radio.
Elevator TV Radio. Unifying broadcasting. Listen. This is radio like you never heard before. Elevator TV Radio. The pathfinder for radio. You are listening to Elevator TV Radio. Elevator TV Radio. We dare to lead.
All right, good morning and welcome to the Sports Buffet on Elegbeta TV Radio. It's the last edition of the show for the year 2020, and Pele is gone. Yesterday, I was here saying, if I was a family, I would say, let him go, and he's done enough. I didn't know that by later in the day, we will be talking about his exit, the greatest player to ever play the game of football. I mean, there's argument, Maradona, Messi, Johan Cruyff, Beckenbauer, name whatever you want to name, Cristiano Ronaldo, the greatest player to ever play the beautiful game of football. Beautiful tribute by Neymar. Some said, oh, before Pele, the number 10 was just a number. Football was just a sport. But then Pele came in and make the number 10 a very special number and the game of football an act. Okay, every other person that came after Pele built upon what Pele had established, and it became the standard bar. You want to score goal, you have to score like Pele. You want to dribble, you have to dribble like Pele. You want to make a pass, you have to make a pass like Pele. You want to bring beauty to the game, you have to do it like Pele. So it is, for me, there is nothing to be sad about. It's just celebration of a life that was well lived, and he was an ambassador of the game, the only player with 3 FIFA World Cup. Never played in Europe, but that doesn't matter. The man who came to Nigeria and the war stopped for 3 days. Still amazing. Every time I think about that story, I just think that the people that were fighting war were as foolish can be. It means that the war really didn't have a meaning, because I don't understand. Okay, but it is what it is. Football have that much power, and the most powerful person in that football space was Pele, right? So it was a great ambassador, shook hands with a lot of people. There are different people who experienced Pele at different stages. Pele is like the proverbial elephant. With your eyes closed, every part you touch gives you different experience and different vibes. But hey, he's the greatest as far as I'm concerned. And this is not to shit on Messi or Maradona or Cristiano Ronaldo, but it is just what it is. James Ingram will say first cut is the deepest, okay? Anyhow, we have the conversation around the greatest football player of all time. You always like put Pele aside as, okay, Pele first, and then let's have the other ones to talk about. So Pele, greatest of all time as far as football is concerned, is gone to heaven. When Maradona was alive, Maradona said that one day when we die, we do hope that there will be football in heaven so we can play and play together. I guess they are playing in heaven now, and if there is really football in heaven, that team have an all-star cast, okay? That team, the Heavenly League would be filled with superstar players, from coaches like Matt Busby over there, great players, Matt Vivian Foe, Rashidi Yakini, the ones that you can mention right now. Anyone that come to your mind that is gone would be somewhere playing in the Heavenly League, and I'm not sure whether they will have Premier League, League One, Farmers League, and the Doctors League, and the Engineers League. They just have a Heavenly League or the Afterlife League, and everybody would have fun. Yay! And I got my brother and my friend in the building. Hey, Roland, what's up? Hi, Brinton. How are you doing? Yes, Ivory 10 but they say Messi is the great above Pele. Well, I'm gonna respect people's opinion, but in my head, I don't think that um, uh, I can rate Messi above Pele anyway. I don't think I can. Yes, Messi defines a generation of maybe two or three different generations, but Pele defined the game. Okay, so as much as it's not meant to, the show is not meant to be a competition between Pele and Maradona and Messi, but I just think that at some point you look at Pele and you say, "Come on, this guy dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's." It's hard. It's hard to go against that argument that Pele is the king of football anyway. There's only one king of football, and that king is Pele. Because Messi is Messi because of Maradona, because of Pele, probably Maradona, American Kempes, and the rest of them. I don't know who Pele became Pele because of, right? There's nobody above him that you say, okay, because of this person. Pele became Pele because of the failures that happened in Brazil. But most other players who became great in the game became great because of the success that other people have made in the game. So it's really hard. It's like if we talk Nigerian football, you can't say Rachidi Yakini became Rachidi Yakini because of somebody else. No, you will say Osime is Osime because of Rachidi Yakini. I don't know if you get my position on that argument. This is not shooting on anybody. This is not pulling anybody down. But Pele is, as far as I'm concerned, when we were growing up, well, all of us wants to be Pele. All of us wanted to be Pele, and then all of us wanted to be Maradona at some point. I know that the children that are growing up right now wants to be Messi, just the same way some kids before now wanted to be a coacher and the rest of them. But if you take it far back, it is all everybody wants to be the number 10, Pele, and it is what it is. Tribute to him anyway. So on the show today, as we're talking about other things, running the tributes, giving you the tribute, different headlines. What about Pele's story that you can remember? You know, maybe running in your house with your friends in your primary school. You know, I'm talking to the older group now because the younger generation, Gen Z, does not have any Pele story anyway. What about Pele's story? What about Pele moment that you have? It would be good to write it because this is like a time capsule. It's always going to be there in history. I'm not a bandwagon person, but this time I choose to be a bandwagon person. Join the group that talks about a great man. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. So okay, I'm gonna need you to send me your mailing address. Oh, finally, my jersey is coming. But let me say this up front. How about I just go call corner? You can't tell me say you banned me from wearing other club jersey. Because my Bayern contract, that contract is very valid to me. So every once in a while, I wear that shirt for political purpose. So that when they last, they watch my distance. He's wearing our jersey. So he's still supporting us. The jersey we sent to him. Because Bayern, they send all those jerseys, they come, but they're not sending it for me to just keep it in my wardrobe. They're sending it for me to wear. I'm even due for another jersey from Bayern by February, March also. Between February and May. Right. Thank you very much for that. That's good news for me to hear. Running up the year with such a beautiful news. Okay, I cannot go to the beach today and go and jump inside water. I've not been to the beach since COVID. Since 2019, I've not been to the beach. I cannot go to the beach today and jump into water and play. My jersey is coming, no matter how long it takes. Well, anyhow, let's look at some of the headlines around the exit of Pele. Now I can't wear Tottenham jersey. You know, I got. So let me tell you, you see me wear Tottenham, Man United, Chelsea jersey. I'm sorry. I think Liverpool. I don't say Liverpool as a team that I have issues with, or Man City. I can wear their jersey, but Man United, I don't understand the devil team. Okay, Spurs, I hate Tottenham. I hate Tottenham Spurs. God. But I've worn Tottenham jersey once. So when I was kind of like 7 or 8, so my eldest sister supports Spurs. Our house is just by White Hart Lane, just very close to White Hart Lane, and she's a diehard supporter of Spurs. She grew up on Spurs. My father worked for Arsenal, but the family is divided among all these clubs in London. I don't have a family member that is a diehard supporter of Crystal Palace. Like Crystal Palace dieharder. Where every time I'm watching Crystal Palace play, I'm just looking at the fans to see him there, you know. And I've seen him a couple of times. Camera have come, see Uncle. But you know, it's one of those things that happen. Spurs, I think he brought me number 7. The first time ever I wore a number 7 jersey. I think it was 7 or 8 years. And I liked the jersey. I won't lie, it was fine at the time. But as I grew and fell in love with Arsenal, oh, Spurs, what betide you? God forbid that club. No. Definitely not going to see me wearing a Spurs jersey. But let's move on with the show anyway. Let's move on with the show. We're going to have some transfer update. I think that they've hacked the transfer window. Yes. They no longer wait for the day. You know, back in the day, I don't know. I mean, if you guys, those who are older like me, back in the day, if you sign a player a day, if a news come out that contacted the player a day before the transfer window open, they'll make a big deal about it. Headline, newspapers. You know, there was no internet at the time. You see stories that they will probe this club. When Man United signed Roy Keane. If you remember, when Man United signed Roy Keane. So the reason Man United was able to sign Roy Keane, in case you guys don't know the story, is a viral. Like when that story broke in 93 or so, it was big story everywhere. Like, so Alex Ferguson, I've tapped, that time was tapping that they call it. I've tapped a player, this one. So it was a Friday. This is the story. Just follow the story. It was a Friday. Blackburn Rovers invited him to come from Ireland to come to England. He came. He went to see the coach, the gaffer. That's what they called him at the time. The gaffer told him that, look, we need you. We want to sign you. We need you in our midfield. Blah blah blah. We want you for this team. We're going to build a team around you. And he liked the project. Okay, he liked the project. He wasn't also having it too good back home in Ireland. He was struggling, and he liked the project. But he comes from a family that support Man United. It's exactly a dad Man United fan, you know. So when he went for that meeting, somehow he just needed to sign an agreement or a pre-contract agreement. Then the lawyers go to work and do the paperwork. But the coach, Gaffer, looked at his table everywhere. He didn't see a buyer. So by the time he left and said, "Let me go to my hotel," Alex Ferguson had called his family house in Dublin. I don't know how I got the number, but hey, when you're connected, you can achieve anything. Called his family house, told them that he wants Roy Keane, like he wants to sign Roy Keane now, and whatever they are offering. I said, no, he's gone to Blackburn. Oh. I told his father to call him not to sign for Blackburn if he had not already signed. And his father now called the hotel where he is. He was at the lobby drinking. They now came down to call. They now patched the call through to the bar where he was drinking, and his father told him, get out of the bar and start going to Manchester. So that's how I went to Manchester. So Alex Ferguson first off doubled his. I think Blackburn was willing to give him £5,000. So the numbers are fuzzing my head right now. And it's signed. So by Monday, the Blackburn Rovers coach, I've told his management that he's find a new gem, a guy who would hold it down in the midfield, who make it happen, blah, blah, blah. And somehow, Manchester United was announcing that guy on Monday. On Monday evening, it was in the news, it was in the papers. Like, it was shocked, okay? And that's how Blackburn also spent money, you know, for the fire team. And that's where that winning the 1995 title was big for them, because they were like, it is all or nothing. We're going to die here. We're going to embarrass this Man United. We'll win the title and go on to become a big club. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. The rest, as it says, history. But, you know, that was a beautiful football moment, football story back in the day, you know. Another story you should remember, Ashley Cole's contract was running out. Arsene Wenger was being Arsene Wenger. The difference was £5,000. Okay, we will pay you this. We'll pay. Just the difference. What Ashley Cole was asking was just £5,000 more. If you wanted him, Ashley Cole at this time was one of, I mean, not the best of the best, but one of the top 5 best left fullback in the world at this time. And I for a man who always say that there is always room for quality, Arsene Wenger dilly-dally until Mourinho got winds of it and, you know, came in. Remember how the noise about tapping was. But today, Konigapko have done medical, I've signed, I've been allocated a jersey number, yet transfer window have not officially opened. Arsenal have made a build that was rejected at Shakhtar Donetsk and a few other clubs like that. So my take, I'm asking this question: should there still be transfer window, or people should buy player and sell player like an open market anytime you like? Because it kind of like feels strange, because normally if you're going to start your transfer negotiation by 1st of January, it could take the first week to the second before you sign a player. But right now, take Odigapo for instance. If your works permit comes in maybe first or second or third, depends on the holiday period, he might just play matches while some clubs are just beginning to start to negotiate. So I think that there is a whole lot of inconsistency to this transfer window rule that in my head I'm thinking, let's just scrap the window, okay, and let people buy. And I know that somebody say, okay, but the rich club will take more advantage of it. Well, it still does look like that. Even with the window, the rich clubs are always taking advantage of it. So what do we do? But let's see how it goes anyway. I'm still waiting your Pele story, your imaginary Pele story, or your real one, the one you heard on the whispers, and the rest of them. Jacob Giorgio, 1955. Semego Bros, how are you doing? Akmos Baba, he said yesterday, you said if you were Pele's child, you would prefer the doctor stop him breathing. Then let him suffer. I agree, and now he is gone. Your analysis is spot on Pele. Bros. Rando, how you doing? But when the news broke that he died, I felt like Nami Jinzi guy, Nami Kiddy guy. Like I just had that like, oh, why did I open my big mouth and say that? I just had that cold feeling. I think I should stop saying some things. Like my friend would say, Nami make the sack Lampard. Nami make the sack Naim reverse not too. But I don't know. I just say it. I guess it's what makes me who I am. Like I just find the boldness to say these things, and sometimes they are not palatable to the ear, to people that listen. Well, let's jump through the transfer because we're going to talk a whole lot about Pele. So let's jump through the transfer stories. So Vicky, he said for me, they should have cancelled the so-called transfer window. Let players move at ease like a labor market. That's what I think. Like, okay, players, if another club contact a player, just give your club 1 month notice. They've contacted me. If you guys are willing to say, go and negotiate with them. If you guys are not willing, turn it down, and maybe let's wait till another time. But all this one I said, they say there's transfer window, but meanwhile there's no transfer window. I don't get it. And all this one that they say when you have 6 months left in your contract, hey, Louis Ariwa, a long time. When you have 6 months left in your contract, you can sign a pre-contract with the club in a league outside your league, but you cannot do that with the club in the league in your league. A club in your league. It doesn't make sense to me. These rules are very, very confusing. But hey, let's move on. Transfer gist and the rumors around transfer still holds that Real Madrid, I don't know, Real Madrid are still really hell-bent on this Bellingham or whatever they call him deal. I just want to ask you guys this question. You guys saw Bellingham play, in the Champions League. He was good at Champions League. I won't lie. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh, the boy did not play good football. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not going to shit on him because I think he's a small boy. But I'm just asking, is it worth all this, drama, all this noise? Is it really worth it? That's my own thought about Jude Bellingham. Do you guys think that he's worth all this noise, all this? We're willing to pay 105 million, 100 million. It can even drag on to 125 million, as the case may be, because now they've opened up a bidding war and it's looking like, oh, it could go that high. You really think that is worth it? I don't know for you guys what you guys think, but I just think that 19-year-old, even apart from the age, I think that money is too much. But then if somebody can pay 100 million for Jack Grealish, Shift Ogboriwan of football, why not? Maybe that one is worth it. But hey, if he wasn't an English player, would they be putting that price on him? But then you tell yourself that somebody bought your Felix for 105 million anyway. Well, the headline, rest in peace, Pele's daughter shares image of his family with the football legend as he dies aged 82 with heartfelt Instagram post saying, "We love you infinitely." After the Brazilian icon battle with colon cancer, Kelly Nascimento confirmed the death of her father Pele at the age of 82 in a heartfelt message. Okay, this is what Kelly wrote. Kelly Nascimento, daughter of Pele, confirmed her father's tragic passing at the age of 82 on Thursday, December 29. After Instagram post, the Brazilian legend passed away after a battle with colon cancer, and his daughter shared an emotional post with her followers, claiming that everything she has is thanks to her father. Yeah, when you have a legend, a great person like that for a father, something's just come easy for you. The three-time World Cup winner is widely regarded as the greatest footballer of all time, and his tragic death has left the beautiful game a phrase he coined in mourning. Now, one of the things that I know would happen pretty soon on Amazon or Netflix is probably somebody will do. I mean, there's going to be another biopic of Pele. There was one biopic about him, that Pele, that one of him going from the 17-year-old boy to, the 9-year-old boy, because it was 8 years after. Yeah, 9-year-old boy who told his dad, "Don't worry, I'll win the World Cup for you," okay? To winning the World Cup for the dad. But then there's going to be the life and time. There's going to be last few years or last days of Pele, as the case may be. I think so, because now the way I look at things, events are different since we start shooting documentaries and since I start staying behind the camera, behind the lenses. There's just something about event that triggers a different kind of pulse in my brain. Like something happened, I'm like, oh, that's a window for a documentary. That's a Netflix. I don't know if I'm overthinking it, but I think it would just happen. Oh, that's a Netflix series there. This is a Netflix. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, this our political train this time. Wish somebody have like the funding, okay? Somebody have like $5 million just to spare. But I just put cameramen around the three major politicians and then maybe add Shawore and a few others. And all the drama that is going on, you document them, the press conferences, the whole blah, 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 everything. And then when this time is over, you put them together as a proper documentary. No political train in the history of Nigeria have ever actually been documented. But then again, that's my brain working over time. That's my brain seeing money just about in everything. I've become a criminal capitalist. Yes, I say that with all sense of responsibility. I've become a criminal capitalist. I see money now in everything. Nothing just happened for the sake of happening anymore. I'm sorry if it offends anybody, but I'm also unapologetical about it. Like, I mean, it is the world that we live in, and there are times when you've got to be realistic about the reality of things that is happening, and that's just it. Yeah, Luis Arroyo Sebos, greetings back to you. Topski Baba says it is not worth it. Okay, they have just abused transfer fees in recent years. All right, thank you very much. A 19-year-old for that amount is absolutely rubbish. The fact that some clubs were bought for higher amount of money is not a yardstick to judge transfer, as any club is free to waste their money. I agree with you. Louis Ariwaya, he said, I don't think it is worth that amount. But we know what the English press does with overhyped players. Maybe 60 million. I think 60 million is pretty decent for a player like Jude Bellingham. Because I was asking myself, is he going to be Toni Kroos? Is he going to be Modric? Is he going to be what is he going to bring that's going to be way different, that's extraordinary? But hey, it's football. We're going somewhere with this. The whole world, the thing that's shocking with football is we keep talking about global economic meltdown, finances not available, money not being there. But hey, one day, one way or the other, football money keep going up. That's why I keep saying that they're using football for money laundering. And I know that I can't prove it, and I shouldn't be saying it, but I think they're using football for money laundering one way or the other. Don't forget the World Cup was hosted with 225 billion. Come on. That's just way over the top, okay? But hey, life goes on. Whatever they are doing, let them be doing. Across the bar say, Inch Media is doing a serious business about their player. Any club who wants to waste funds are free to do so. Thank you very much on that one. The Pele talk continue, okay? With Pele's passing age 82, football has lost the king. For so long, he was hailed as the greatest player of all time. But after Messi joined Maradona as a World Cup winner, who really is the best player ever? I still think it's Pele. Who is the best footballer ever? I still think it's Pele. Pele, Maradona, Messi. Please remove Ronaldo from that list. Or Ronaldo. It is a debate that has long raged among football fans and not expected to end ever. Just who really is the greatest footballer to have played the game? Although it is impossible to provide the definitive answer to that burning question for half a century, one man has stood head and shoulders above all the other candidates. Pele, after his death, the world is remembering his genius, celebrating his legacy, and honoring his name, the king. But we can also enjoy a fresh round of debate over his seat on the very top of football's Mount Olympus. Okay, Americans have Mount Rushmore. Now football have Mount Olympus. Olympus has fallen. Okay, let's see. Pele's life off the field was just as colorful as his famous Brazil kit. He had 7 children, many affairs. The man can shoot. Okay, mixed with president, acted in films, and even smashed the taboo around Buratashi, aka Viagra. Commissioned to produce a portrait of Pele in 1977, the artist Andy Warhol quipped, Pele was one of the few who contradicted my theory. Instead of 15 minutes of fame, he will have 15 centuries. Wow. It nicely sums up the adulation for footballer widely considered the greatest to ever take the field. Okay, Pele was regarded by his contemporaries as the very best, but esteem for the Brazilian extended well beyond the stadium into the realms of sports, politics, and popular culture, or otherwise known as pop culture. Nobody could remember exactly how Edson Arantes do Nascimento became contracted into just Pele, but those 4 letters commanded recognition and respect in all 4 corners of the globe. Once a reporter asked Pele if his fame was comparable to that of Jesus Christ, to which he replied, there are parts of the world where Jesus Christ is not so well known. Damn. That was a big response anyway. Jumarapo Resources Limited is a rest in peace, Pele. Thank you very much for that one, guys. Bringing your tribute for Pele and joining on all the conversation you want to throw in. Brazil mourns the death of Pele at age 82 as Christ the Redeemer, and the Maracana are lit up in the colors of the nation's flag and fans. I went to Christ the Redeemer, the Christus, but I don't have a picture of it. That's crazy, because that morning, somehow I was going and the rush, my phone fell and a car ran over my phone. It's one of those things that happen, okay? Fan subs outside Santos Stadium. Pele died at the age of 82, Thursday at the Albert Einstein Israelite Hospital in Sao Paulo after a lengthy battle with colon cancer. Considered soccer's greatest ever by many across the world, in his native Brazil, he is lauded as a godlike figure. The nation went into mourning after losing the soccer legend who led it to its first ever World Cup in 1958, with many flooding to the streets or to Santos Stadium to pay tribute to the king. Now, let me show you my Brazil experience. So I was in Brazil for the 2014 World Cup. Brazil was not good. Brazil didn't have a good team, but they still managed to get to the semifinal because they are Brazil. Okay, even a bad Brazil team is still a threat to anybody. They played in the same group with Croatia, Cameroon, and I think one other country I forgot. That's not important. They got the beating of their life ever. The group was beating of their life ever. Playing against Germany in the semifinals, and Shirley and the rest of them, they were just evil on the day. Okay, but this is what happened. Remember, in the quarterfinal match was when Neymar got an injury that almost paralyzed him. Was 2 centimeters away from him being paralyzed from waist down. When when Neymar was being taken off the field, you need to see people crying, like really, really crying. I'm coming from Nigeria. I played in Europe. I've traveled. You okay? I mean, I've even seen NFL game. I've seen ice hockey. I've seen basketball game live in stadium. But I've not felt that kind of atmosphere. And just when I thought that was like, okay, the worst of it. Remember in that game also, Thiago Silva got, inspirational captain Thiago Silva got a yellow card, so he was going to miss the semi-final. So there was no Neymar, the orchestra, the magician, and then there was no leader at the back. So David Luiz and co were going to be there, Fred and the rest of them. Yeah, they got the beating of their life, because when you play against Germany, you got to come prepared. They were not prepared. They got the beating of their life. Now that's not the problem. When Brazil lost that game, I have never seen anything like that before. The opposite of it could be described as what happened with Saudi Arabia when they beat Argentina. But the mourning, the sadness, and then let me also add this. That's Brazil, the first country I went to when their national team is playing, there is no flight. It's a no-flight zone. So if you are booking a flight, you are better fly and land before Brazil plays. Brazil is playing, there is no flight. No flight. All flights are cancelled on the day Brazil is playing. This is no joke, no capping. This is the fact of the matter. I experienced it. And when Brazil lost, okay, so you know the World Cup have shuttle buses that come every 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes there's a shuttle bus picking you and going to drop you in your destination. I was in Rio Dois, like the Banana Island in Rio, right? And in that semi-finals, I was leaving the IBC, the International Broadcast Center, and I was going home. The bus, first off, was so quiet. There were Germans in that bus. There were journalists from all over every part of the world, Australians, but then there were Brazilians. The drivers are Brazilians. The bus conductor, like it's a normal, coach, right? But they call them bus conductor. They're all Brazilians. Now, if you see people crying, and then on the street as you're going, there are no cars, the normal honking and everything, there was none. People crying, people sitting on the sidewalk and just wailing. So it's not just crying, wailing. And I was like, what the heck happened? It's a football game. Okay, but really to Brazil, it's not a football game. And, when I compare it to what I saw in Italy, when Napoli played against is it Napoli? What's the game I went to go see some time ago? It was Napoli Atalanta game, and then I saw Lazio Roma, and then I also saw Inter Milan, AC Milan. Then Juventus Turin. Okay, those games that I saw when I saw the ultras, doing all the things that they're doing. Yeah, the Derby de Madonnina, which is the Milan derby. It was different. And then I take it back again to Germany when I saw 80-60 minutes play against Bayern Munich in the DFB Pokal game. I saw Bayern Munich play against Dortmund, in the league game. I also saw Ajax play against PSV Eindhoven in the cup finals, okay, back in the day. And, some of the games that I've seen, the English games, the hooligans and the rest of them. And I tell you, nothing compares to that moment in Brazil. It's etched in my head and in my heart forever, how people see football. And for me, I grew up in a generation where football was followed passionately in Nigeria. The generation that have people like Ofri Jeba, the generation that have, Brighton Mokaro, that generation, Clement Emile, Duke Udi, David Ogaga, Edith Agoyi, Olumide Harris, Judo Gutuashe, Dr. Alatishe, all of these guys. But listen, I'm not saying what I saw that day. And I'm still saying that one of my bucket lists is to go watch Boca Juniors play against River Plate in Argentina. And probably in the next 2 or 3 years, I'll fulfill that dream. I'll go watch Boca Juniors River Plate. I mean, they say it's a dangerous derby. It's the craziest derby in the world, but I just want to feel the atmosphere. Anyway, I just want to feel the atmosphere. And I've actually not been to Argentina, so that would give me the opportunity to also go to Argentina. My point is, football is different in different places. Football is crazy. Football is different. I hope that one day Nigeria would have a football culture that would put people together in that form and with that type of energy, the kinetic, the energy that football brings within some countries. And then you look at Nigeria, it's like, okay, we're not there yet. Well, where did I stop? it will be a massive fight. Now let's jump away from Pele a little bit. People are talking about Pele, and your club is thinking about the top four. And this is what he's got to say. And I don't know what you guys think about it. It will be a massive fight. Your club expecting a spectacular top four scrap. As Liverpool boss says, there are only two spaces left for five teams, with Arsenal and Man City battling for the title, right? So your club considers Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur not guaranteed, yes. I can say Tottenham Hotspur, but I'm worried about Newcastle. Your club considers the top four finish this season as one of the toughest challenges he has faced at Liverpool because of the unprecedented competition. Club side faced Leicester on Friday night, which is today, 5 point off the Champions League spots, with the German working on the basis of five clubs fighting for two spaces. Okay, with Arsenal and Manchester City out of sight, there was always going to be a top seven this season because we know Newcastle is a massive contender from now on, said club. Only four can make it, and it looks at the moment there are two places left. Two seats on the bus is already filled. That's the seat for Arsenal and Manchester City. Those two are battling for the title. Now the other two places is a Champions League spots, and they are looking for it. For you out there, who do you think will make it and who do you think will drop? But before you answer, Tottenham Hotspur listen to that and they say, okay, we need reinforcement. If we don't get reinforcement, we just might suffer. Tottenham Hotspur have made a bid of £13 million for Barcelona midfielder, former AC Milan guy, Ivorian Frankie Kessie, the player that's always spreading his hand like he wants to fly or he wants to box. I don't know. As Antonio Conte looks to offer the Ivorian a way out of his nightmare spell in Spain and boost his option ahead of the top four push. Kessie is 26, only joined the Spanish Giants 6 months ago, but has struggled for minutes and form for the club since joining Barcelona from AC Milan. He would always struggle because the way he plays does not suit the Barcelona way. When he was going to Barcelona, I said, this guy can't play in Spain because the way they play football in Spain would frustrate his game. Okay, before I come into what you guys are saying, let me also remind you what Neymar said. And this is a beautiful piece. You know, it is artistically written, and you would almost say that was it Neymar that wrote this, but who cares? Neymar is the one that is credited with it because this is his post on social media. Before Pele, football was just a sport. Neymar hails the king as tribute pours in from Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Usain Bolt, Gary Lineker, and many more football and sporting legends after his death, okay, age 82. Kylian Mbappe and Gary Lineker and Sergio Horst were among those to post a social media post after Pele's passing was announced on Thursday following his battle with colon cancer. Now, this one was a little bit instructive and educative. In case you don't know who Sergio Horst is, it's a man that was at the 1966 World Cup, right? World Cup winner in 1966. He still uses social media. But then you meet some young people who come to you that they want to work for you. I said, are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter? No, I don't do that kind of things. You don't do that kind of thing and you want to work for an online radio. Okay, now just they play, they play. Just they play, they go. Okay, just they play. We'll know who want to work for who when the time will reach. All right. And in case you don't know, this man that we're talking about, not be today me too. Not be today Piki. Now Pele age mate too. Pele died at 82. This man is 81 years of age. Yeah, but it's not shaking at all. It's still the social media. But some of us say, yeah, where the social media? No, I not the social. I not get that time. I not say they get any business whether they run. According to Barca, Manchester United and Liverpool will occupy third and fourth position respectively. Arsenal for the title. Arsenal for the title. You never did sure. Never did sure. Arsenal need to have like 10 points gap. Then we can say it's sure. Right now, never did sure. Right now, they are still the original plan was to make the top four, and I want to stick with that. This Arsenal for the title is a risky conversation, but I wish we do it anyway. I wish. Hybrid test is just a reminder that all of us must be ready to meet our maker and that everything we all struggle to attain in this life is fleeting. You know, when I hear people say this thing, I always laugh. That maker that way with the hurry to go meet. So, what if there is no maker anywhere to meet? You know, I live my life. This is how I live my life. This is the life they give me. I can't spend my time here bothering about the life I don't know about. You understand? The person that is going to go live that life, I don't know the person. This is the guy that I know. I'm going to focus on this, living this life. What happened in the meeting, the maker transaction, let it happen. I'm focused on this one. I'm done. I mean, I can't be living two lives at the same time. Be struggling about this one and be bothering about what the other life. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. Last, all of us will be fine. Oduni Remele say good morning, boss. Good morning to you. Mayor Adebayo said Jude is a small boy. He must have something that other kids in his generation don't have. Okay, big teams have strategies that analyze the same way they analyze Nicolas Pepe for Arsenal players in terms of result, merchandise, talent, among other aspects. My brother, nah, we not good at the test story with lie. You see all this talk about all these ones where you talk, so that price is still too much. Okay. I said that. Do you think Man City will be eclipse Arsenal, or can Arsenal sustain it to the end? To be very honest with you, this you know that this question, you said ask this question, you know it's a trick question. One, if Arsenal had not lost Gabriel Jesus, I would still say that it's going to be a struggle. But I think that the mentality, especially looking at how they played in the second half against West Ham, on a day where they were not really, sharp in the final third, they were still good. They dominated that game. They just one slack moment. West Ham got a penalty, and that happened, and the game still ended 3-1. I think that Arsenal are in it, but there is a point where I am always going to wait before I make a final say on this, and that's like the middle of March. My reason being that Arsenal have got 2 games to play against Man City. See, with Man U, we've lost one. The return leg, we don't know what's going to happen, but Arsenal might win that one. With Liverpool, we've won 1. With Chelsea, we've won 1. With Spurs, we've won 1. So there is a balance to those conversations. But with City, 6 points. City does have a team that can take those 6 points. But we also have a team that can punish City in the defense. City are not defending very well at all. It's just that the teams that they play against are not brave enough and are not talented enough in midfield to hold their own. Well, it is hard to hold your own against Man City in midfield because the coach of Man City was a midfield general in his day. And he knows that that's where all of the cooking happened. All of the atomic bomb is made there. So once he gets those people going, but when I look at Man City currently, this City team, for the 6 years that Pep Guardiola have been in England, this is the worst City team he's had. Now, just systematically take away Erling Haaland from this team and his goals. City should be somewhere around 9th or 11th. So this is the worst City team that they've had. But then they have a robot. They have a devil. No, that's not nice. They have an alien playing for them. So no matter how good an analyst you are, you can't really figure it out. Look at the game against the last game they played. Who did they play against? Leeds United. First half, that's worst player of the team. Jack Grealish was nowhere. Confidence was low. He was playing rubbish. But because he created 2 goals for Erling Haaland in the second half, you might say, oh, he was close to man of the match performance. That's how good City can be, even when they're not playing well. So what if they hit their reading? Normally, this season again, the World Cup disrupts Pep Guardiola's reading. Since he came to England, Pep Guardiola's season starts in November and ends at the end of March. That is a place where he goes that 13 games, 18 games unbeaten run. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. But then everybody's main player went to the World Cup. His main player was at home, weaving his hair, shopping, training, and keeping himself ready. Then every other club also went to the World Cup, and their players came back feeling like we did probably average or above average. Kevin De Bruyne came back with a pain in his heart, serious pain in his heart that he didn't do well at the World Cup. He needs to show up and earn his respect. That's one. Mahrez didn't go to the World Cup at all. He needs to do something. Bernardo Silva had a terrible World Cup. So you see the Man City team, Joao Cancelo also had a terrible World Cup. You see the Man City team, same with Netanyahu. You see this Man City team have a bunch of angry players who just wants to prove a point, end the season and forget what happened in November, December at the World Cup in Qatar. So that makes, like, if I sit down, I spent the last 2 days analyzing Man City to the end of the season. What could happen? And then Arsenal, what could happen? The truth of the matter is, for the very first time in a long while, I could not, if analysis is titration, I could not meet endpoints. I could not get the result that I'm looking for. I've not even had my eureka moments, my Archimedes theory, what I can remove and then replace and get the same. So it's crazy. I normally get answers to almost every question that people throw at me, but really on this one, I really don't have an answer that I can beat my chest on and say, okay, this is going to happen. So my prediction from the beginning of the season still stands. Man City for the title, Arsenal second or third, Man United second or third, and Liverpool fourth. Okay, that's where I still stand on it. It's difficult. It's crazy. It's almost ridiculous to say the least. If somebody else is saying this thing that I'm saying, and I'm watching, I'm like, this guy, you're drunk. But that's my prediction from the beginning of the season. But that prediction didn't put into account the kind of performance that Arsenal have put up. So if Arsenal can stay in the fight, especially beat Newcastle, if Arsenal beat Newcastle, go and play Man City and get a draw in the middle of February, I practically must come back here and tell you this title is going to the Emirates. It's going to be wrapped in red ribbon instead of the normal sky blue ribbon. But for once, even the master does not have anything to say right now. Okay, Oduni Remele say, what's it concerned Dortmund? Bidding war for any of their player, na joy to them. My brother, na true you talk. Yes, so Patrick Remele said Pele was a global star, came, saw, and conquered, and has left the stage, but left an inspiring legacy that would inspire many who are yet to be born. This is how to live. Yeah, the Olawaji says, good morning, Elebete. Maybe they just do transfer like Aswani markets, like every Tuesday market. You mean? All right, I understand that anyway. And I want to say rest in peace, Pele. Yeah, Johnny Gafar, my guy, now. Does Pele not playing in a top European league diminish his legacy in any way? As a matter of fact, that is even what makes his legacy better, because he didn't have you. People would say Messi's success is tied to the quality of players he played with at Barcelona. You know, the this, the that. I think the last year and this year actually cemented Messi's legacy, because he is one title with the worst generation of Argentine players. So you look at him winning the Copa America with these upstarts, these upcoming players, and winning the World Cup. Who would have bet their money that a defense that is led by Otamendi, Romero, and Shotman, Lisandro coming from the bench would win a World Cup? But hey, it happened. They won the World Cup. So, but for Pele, you look at what he did with Santos. Cosmos was not really a big thing. Cosmos was a circus show. And what he did with the national team. So it was more what he did for the national team that really happened. You remember in 2002 when Ronaldo da Lima won the Ballon d'Or? I think that was one of the Ballon d'Or award given for a player that did not really perform all through the year, but just had a 7-game performance. In that year, Ronaldo da Lima scored 16 goals. I think he scored 7 goals in the World Cup, and then the rest was the league. And he won the Ballon d'Or. That was the most ridiculous time to give a Ballon d'Or to a player. It was like Kanu Wako winning the African Footballer of the Year in 1999. I still don't think he deserved it, okay? But hey, these guys are legends beyond argument. And I try not to argue about them. And, one of my all-time favorite strikers is Ronaldo da Lima. He said the thing with Pele is all of the things that count against people are the things that he used to build a legacy for himself. National team matches don't come every year. World Cup is every 4 years. For you to play in 4 World Cup, and of the 4, you win 3, and the one that you didn't win in 1966, heaven and earth knows that you were robbed. Okay, England robbed everybody to win, oppressed everybody to win that World Cup, just for Her Majesty to have a hand to touch the World Cup. Hey, it's a long story. It's a different generation, different time. Argentina also won the World Cup by using military tank to oppress everybody to win the World Cup. Everybody do their own thing, okay? So it's not a big deal. In 78, Argentina practically won that World Cup by bullying everybody with military tank and fascist government and all that. But that's a different thing. They also use what you have to get what you want, right? So for me, I think that Pele not playing in Europe actually made his own legacy a lot more solid, because it's like, the argument of Davido and Wizkid. There's always the people who tell you that if you take away all the money that Davido had, he might not have the motivation to sing or to do music the way he did it, because there'll be no comfort. But Wizkid is always in the conversation because he went from being a studio rat, nobody, Joe Elegba, to becoming this guy that he is. As much as Davido will be loved and respected and adored, there's a part of your heart that tells you that these people are loving him and not loving his music, are loving his money. Take away his money, there's always going to be so replace money with some of the big clubs that some of these players have played in, and the comfort that comes in, the quality training, the whole equipment and the rest, coaching, facilities, and you say Pele braved the odds. And when people judge Pele, I always say that, remember, this guy played at the time when the boots were heavier, the quality of the ball were not really that good. A lot of things were there, but then he was still able to pull up the techniques that he pulled up the way he did. I mean, God rest his soul. And I think for the beautiful game that I love, that I've played and I've now become an entrepreneur in, I just think that there's nobody on Pele's page, like on his level, right? And I give him the credit for that forever, okay? Genesis Steven Sports, say, our season will finish Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Tottenham in this top four. Okay. Fifth, Newcastle. Sixth, Man United. Brighton, seventh, or Chelsea. I think Man United will make top four anyway. Tottenham Hotspur will not make top four. It's on our current table now. They look to the judge. So this will not be analyst. Akwas Baba 82. He said Ronaldo says, we say Messi should win a World Cup to be declared the GOAT. Now he won. They came out with something else, and eventually they all became supporters of Mbappe. Bad belly for them. Well, that's not even I don't like joining that conversation because it's a lot more childish than I could even imagine. So that's not even my part of the conversation. So Vicky, aka Victor Malolo, says France also used all their tactics to win in 98, yes, including making sure Ronaldo was infected with convulsion. Yes, and the feature was also rigged, as Platini came out to admit recently. Amritan is laughing. I don't know why he's laughing. Lord Mayor, he said greetings, boss, greetings to you. Yes, Gamanov Valentine, his Russian name. It's a good evening, Elabata. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Thank you very much, wherever you are. Have a wonderful day. Lord Mayor said, boss, why are midfielders always the best in coaching position? Because most world-class coaches that played football are so good. That one I can't explain, but I think that in football, to be fair, defenders see the game more, but midfielders play the game more. Try to understand this thing I'm saying. Defenders see the game more, but midfielders play the game more. So over time, I'm going to explain this now. So it's like when we were in school, you know why art students have better handwriting than science students? Because most time art students are writing more than science students. Science students are always in the lab working with chemicals and the rest of them, so they don't spend that much time writing. And even if they want to write because they are distracted by that, they just do scribble. They just write like in shorthand or just abbreviation and put their notepad in their pocket, and then they are working with their. But science art students have time to really design, to write, stencil it, stenography. If they want to do anything, they do it like they're using stenography to do it. That's the thing with midfielders. Defenders get the ball, give it to midfielders. Attackers, if we're pressing, give it to midfielder. Everybody gives the ball to midfielder. So in terms of understanding the game, even when coaches are talking in the dressing room, they talk more to their midfielder because they know that a game is won and lost in the midfield. So that's like the engine of a team. So over time, trusting you with such responsibility over time That makes you understand the game. So there are two kinds of people that play football. There are people who play football just for the sake of playing it. And then there are those who are students of the game. I'm a student of the game. There are people who are students of the game. And by student of the game means that you not only play, Ateta is a student of the game. Pep Guardiola is a student of the game. You play the game, but then you study the game. You try to know. Victor Osimhen is a student of the game, but still, it's not still coming. Now, you try to learn the game, like understand the game. Why are these people making this move? When every time they get the ball, this is 1, 2, 3 steps that they take. Defenders don't think like that in football. Defenders think the last ball that is coming, I'm going to block it and kick it out. I'm going to get it and pass to somebody. But the midfielders see the game differently. Like, I'm going to stop that move, get it, and I'm going to make a decision. Okay? That's how midfield is. I'm going to make a decision. You're like a president. So a midfielder is like a president. A winger or attacker or defender are like ministers, right? You can only work within the space of your budget. A president I'm talking about good president. I'm not talking of say Baba kind of presidency. Carries everybody along and consider what is best before they take their decision. So midfielders in the game most, it's not coincidence anyway that when they retire, they easily know how to coach, because when they sit back and then rethink the game, because that's what you do, you debrief yourself, rethink the game, they now start seeing the loopholes. When Pep Guardiola came into coaching, he knew that football needed one extra midfielder. So removing one attacker and bringing in one extra midfielder was great, because that's where all the loopholes are in. Because he realized that two strikers just standing alone up front waiting for people to work for them, it's not going to work. The ball is lighter, the boots are lighter, the jerseys are lighter, players are going to run faster, sports science have come into the game, players are going to feel differently, they're not going to eat every amala or every eba going into the game. So the science now to the game, everything is made in a special way. You eat carbohydrates on Monday, on Tuesday, and then from Wednesday leading to Saturday that you're going to play the game, you're going to be eating veggies and proteins, very, very, tailor-made for you. So you're going to run faster, you're going to move faster, even though you're going to show less skills. And you got to have like players who can think in that mode to be able to get it right. And so that's why midfielders make good coaches. This is my opinion. I might be wrong, but this is my opinion. Okay. Where did I stop? Okay. Every time I say, wow, even the goats in that field, no day sure. Now I am even more nervous. Thank you. Let's wait till March. I'll be sure. Okay. Oduni Remileka says, seriously, Argentina too. I need to go read the history. Germana Valentine, they say Chelsea would definitely make the top 4. Definitely? I don't think so. Rhys James is just gone out injured. Messi Mount is a yo-yo player. Aubameyang is there since the season starts. Right? Sterling just had a good game in this last game. That's the best game he's played. He should keep his hair like that and just play and be smiling, because when he's smiling, he plays well. But making that top 4, I don't think so. I don't think Chelsea will make the top 4. That I can put a wager on. I don't think Chelsea will make the top 4. They are coming to the party too late. It will be like Arsenal of last season. They will lose it last minute. I don't think so. First off, Chelsea still have 4 defeats in this season. 4 more defeats in this season, and I think Newcastle will beat them. I think so. I also think that Man City will beat them. I think that Manchester United game, that game is going to be crazy. The Arsenal game again, Arsenal might, and I didn't say will, but I say might beat them. So I don't think Chelsea will make the top 4. Odini Rebeleko say top 4, and this is maybe minimal. They might lose more than 4 or 5 games, but I'm just being like the barest minimum. There's still 4 guaranteed defeats. So this is not me. This is me not putting all the other lesser teams that could just beat them and surprise them. Okay. Oduni Remeleko say top 4. Lenu or more Chelsea joke. Okay. Oduni Remeleko say went on to say because Una won't buy everybody. Abi all the ones Una buy don't deliver. Okay. Germanov Valentine is saying Newcastle will shock everyone this season. They look like the Leicester of 2016, but I think that there are some games that would turn them upside down and make it hard for them. If they make the top 4, I will be surprised, but I don't think that they can surprise us and then go on to win the title. But then if they make the top 4, I think Eddie Howe would have made me eat my words. I hardly have to eat my word, but Eddie Howe, I've already done well enough, but let's see wait to the end of the season. But the one that I know would not surprise me and prove me wrong is Graham Potter. That one, top 4. If he's not careful, he will end up in 8th position. Chenibo Akwaya may say, good morning, Elegote. A lot of people feel Newcastle United are doing initial gra, but I think they can make top 4. I don't think it's about initial gra. I think that they have a group of players who are willing. When the coach says jump, they ask how high do you want us to jump. They say run, they say how far you want us to run. If you look at the games that they played, the Leicester game, for instance, they ran 4 times more than Leicester players. But I'm not going to use Leicester as a case because Leicester players are there sabotaging themselves, playing like MPFL clubs. But naturally, generally, they play well. And then they found a bond. Okay, so Newcastle is like Croatia on their good day in the World Cup, like in 98 and in 2018. They don't have big name stars like all over the place. But what they have is a collective, the power of a collective that binds them together to say, but if you're ready to die for me, I'm willing to die for you. I mean, if you look at the players in their roster, Willock will not make it into any of the top 4 teams. Joelinton will not make it into any of the top 4 teams. Even Man United, Liverpool, and Chelsea, they will not start in those teams. And some of the other guys, many main guys that are even supposed to be the key players are out injured. Saint Maxima, whatever his name is, the one that they bought for 60 million has not played well. Not like I'm saying that guy is a good player anyway, but those guys have not even played. But one way or the other, they found a very good harmony. Like it's like music. Okay, so music have 3 things. It has lyrics, it has harmony, and rhythm, right? If all of them comes together, you have an award-winning song. But sometimes, like Portable song, they are all over the place. You can't feel it. You know that's just organized noise, and nothing is going to happen. Like what Arsenal used to be in the last 15 years. Okay, Arsenal is beginning to find rhythm and harmony, even on the days where they're not playing well, they win because the harmony, the team is winning from the dressing room into the field, and that's exactly what Newcastle have managed to create, and to do it within such a short time. Credit to Eddie Howe. Whatever happens in the course of this season, if he makes the top 4, I think it's a well-deserved one. And if he makes the top 4, I think he should be given the coach of the year already. For my own position, I'm rating him as the best coach this season. Pep Guardiola have not performed wonders tactically. Just have a team with a monster in his side, and everything happens like that. But then there is still more games to be played than the number of games that have been played. Anything can happen. Some teams can lose form. Nobody saw Gabriel Jesus, who was not a regular for Brazil, getting injured in the just very one game that he started. It's crazy, but that's how football is. Football can be cruel sometimes. But then again, the injury of Gabriel Jesus can also be the catalyst that makes Arsenal win the title. The reason being that, one, it's looking like the squad will bond together a lot more, as we saw in the second half against West Ham. But not every team will give you the time to regroup after first half of not showing up. But the good thing is, Arsenal is doing one thing that many successful teams do. Even when they're not playing well, they don't turn over possession that much. They're always holding on to possession because to punish a team, you have to also have the ball. And because of how they play their movement, most teams find it difficult to just go and attack. Remember when Arsenal equalized against West Ham? If West Ham had stayed the shape that they were in from the beginning, that game would have ended in a draw. But West Ham had a false confidence that, oh, Arsenal is not that good, let's go forward. They went forward, and then they opened themselves. And, the second and third goal. Second goal, you blame the goalkeeper to squeeze that pimples out of a very, very perpendicular angle. But then again, the third goal, I mean, give credit to the guy that I don't like, Eddie Nketiah, for turning 180 to 190 degrees to calmly put that ball in the net. But then, let's see how it goes. Well, guys, we've come to the end of the show. It's 2 minutes past the hour of 10. I have a beach outing to go today. I'm on the run. Okay? Thank you very much for your time. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. You guys have been massive, wonderful. We won't see each other again until the new year. So, this is what I have to say. Whatever it is you know about yourself that you've not done right in 2022, sleeve it off you. Okay? It's not a New Year resolution thing. Just try, deliberately, intentionally agree to not do some things, and then become a better you in 2023. Don't do all those New Year resolutions. It doesn't work. We all know that it doesn't work. It's just a cliche. But just do the right things and try to not procrastinate too much. In short, I saw something in James in the Bible which day. It said, to him that know what is good and refuse to do it, it's a sin. Normally we always say that sin is when you do bad. But not doing good when you know what good is. And doing good is not necessarily just dashing people money anyway. But that's part of it. Not doing good when you know what good is, it's regarded as a sin. And that was very, very scary for me because, come on, how? Okay, but hey, it is what it is. So just know what is right and do what is right. Don't forget that next year election is coming. If you're Nigerian and you're living in Nigeria, use your PVC, use it well. And when you do, this is what I always say about election: whoever wins, as soon as they win, don't tear them down. Accept that they are now your commander in chief. Give them the support. Speak good of them. Wish them well until they start doing wrong. Then you cannot criticize. Don't start from the moment they are elected to tear them down. It's our country. They're deporting us from India, deporting us, shutting doors against us in Dubai. Those people who think that, oh, if war happen, anything happen, we'll go wrong other countries. They go lock us, they'll lock door against us, we'll go born here. So let's build a country that our children can thank us for, like the children of the people in Dubai and America and the rest of them are thanking them for the country that the J. Rockefellers of this world, the Henry Ford of this world built for them. So have a wonderful end to the year, and let's see you again in the new year. God bless you and have yourself a wonderful day. I'm going to be here on the 2nd of January 2023. Until then, love you guys and have a swell time. Bye-bye. As I go, Odino Remileko rounds it up by saying, I think Newcastle owners have done well so far, Sha. Thank you very much. God bless you. Once again, my name is Idafi Matthew. So you love to come in and go to One Sports. It's been a wonderful time doing this for the whole of this year. And everybody who supported me, who pushed, who gave me all the support, funding, support, encouragement. God bless you. We're not folding up. We're going to come out better as we progress into 2023. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. What's up, people? My name is Timmy Dakulo, and you're listening to Elegbete